views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
This is Patty Hunter, Patty's Page. Welcome to my show. Today, my special guest on Zoom is Lisa and Mike Davis. And she is executive director for Deeper Still Northern Indiana, and Mike is also helping her with Deeper Still here in Fort Wayne area in Allen County. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah. He's technically the men's coordinator for Deeper Still Northern Indiana.
Oh, okay. Well, look what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
who's that?
from our banquet. Yeah.
And what does that represent, my friend?
That the little ones that we were giving out, I'm not sure we'll continue to give them out, but we were giving out little bears so that people who knew someone who had an abortion in their past could keep the bear in their home or somewhere close by to remind them to pray for that person, that their loved one, family member or friend will get healing.
That's what I've been doing for several of my friends who had it. So, exactly, what is Deeper Still? Let's go deep into this. What is it?
Deeper Still was formed 15 years ago, actually. It's the 15th birthday of Deeper Still. 15 years ago by a woman named Karen Ellison. And she started the first chapter, which is in Knoxville, Tennessee, and the parent chapter of all the other Deeper Still chapters.
How many?
There are approaching 30 or more. They're popping up all the time. So she's the founder of Deeper Still, and she at first just wanted to do it just for people in her local area. It was something that kind of came out of some years of going through healing and going through understanding the whole process of healing. And so she started to put it in a retreat format that just formed into what we see now today as the Deeper Still retreat. And then as she saw its popularity and how many people wanted help, she realized that this was bigger than just doing it down in the Knoxville area. So she started to offer this training and opportunity for other chapters to form.
So the mission, the original mission, is it still the same now?
Yep. And the mission is to multiply ministry teams who bring healing and lasting freedom to abortion wounded hearts. So the mission is very intentional in saying to multiply, because Karen, and nor do we want to just see things get bigger and bigger and bigger, just like our chapter. We don't want to just see it get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's the only one providing the help, but that we're able to reproduce our chapters all over the United States and even hopefully the world someday.
So there are a lot of branches. Do you call yourself branches?
Chapters.
Chapters. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's 30, and there's new ones coming up every day. So
because it's like a network, really.
It is. It is. And the national chapter has a website where all of the fully formed chapters can be found there for the retreats that are available across the United States. And that is that website's deeperstill.org.
Mm. How many states are you in? 30 states
Um,
or what?
Well, I don't know that off the top of my head, but I know,
Website just came up today.
yeah, the website shows all of the existing chapters that are offering retreats right now. Some of the chapters are just forming, but they're not on the website yet. But there are like several chapters in California. There's
Oh, yeah.
three chapters in Tennessee, one chapter here in Indiana, which is our chapter, a couple of chapters in Ohio,
One in
two
Michigan.
chapters in Illinois, one in Michigan, one in Nevada, Arkansas, Arizona,
Yay.
Wisconsin,
Wisconsin, Florida,
New Jersey's starting up.
yeah, Pennsylvania. So there's chapters in many, many states. Not
So
every
how do
state
you-
yet.
How do you reach out to people to see if they can become a member
A
of
chapter?
chapter? Yeah.
Well, they would need to contact the main office, the chapter in Knoxville, Tennessee, which they can do through the website deeperstill.org.
Not just the ladies who have had abortions, but
Right.
the men who allow the ladies to have abortions. How do you help the men?
The same way. We get to the men the same way. The men are a little bit harder to get to come to a retreat, but we just kind of pray them in.
Mhm.
And our last retreat, we had 5 men, which is the most men we've ever had at a retreat. And
It's
they get
growing.
they get the healing. They get the same healing as the women. It's just you got to go at it a little bit different way. But the whole retreat is geared both towards the men and the women. And there's a dynamic that's there when the men can see how the women react to their past abortion, and the women get to see how the men react to their past abortion. They really get to understand each other.
Yeah. There must have been some sort of wall between the husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend.
Well, we've had a lot of women come through that absolutely hated men before the retreat. They didn't want anything to do with men. They hated them as a whole because of how they've been treated in their past. So we try to help them through that, and I try to show them a lot of love when they're at the retreat.
Yeah. They get to see the example of a godly man or godly men at the retreat who are serving them and care for them. And then they get to see the other men, the participants that are there. If we have male participants, they get to see their healing process. But it's also very individual. So the retreats there's like a group, there's times where there's a group setting, and then there's small group settings with just men or just women. And then there's times where there's individual ministry just to the participant. And so there's just a lot of different dynamics, different ways that we go through that healing process for them to deal with the unforgiveness, telling their story, dealing with unforgiveness, understanding that they are made and their babies are made in the image of God, talking about the gospel, restoring their motherhood and fatherhood
Yeah.
to its original intent through prayer. And so there's a lot of different elements to the retreat that are very healing for both women and men.
How many retreats a year do you have?
We do 3 retreats a year. Not every chapter does.
Oh, yeah.
First, we started in 2017 with 1 retreat, and then we did 1 retreat in 2018 here in Northern Indiana. And then in 2019, we did 2 retreats. And then we did another 2 retreats in 2020. We even managed to get in a couple of retreats that year. And then since then, we've been doing 3 retreats a year. So we've done 3 retreats a year, or will be doing 3 retreats a year for the last 3 years.
This COVID thing, is that slowing you down, kind of? Or is it?
Oh, only momentarily. We had to cancel our spring 2020 retreat, but we
That was
did do
rough.
one. We took some COVID precautions and we're very careful, and we did have a retreat in the summer of that year and the fall of 2020. And it was just marvelous healing, like every retreat. Yeah, back then we did. Mm-hmm.
You don't do it now because
No.
it's died out, or this COVID's died out?
Yeah. Thank God.
You have fundraisers, right? How do you
Yep.
fund What do you do?
Well, we only have one main fundraiser,
Mhm.
and that is a banquet every year in the early spring, which is where you got your bear, I think, right? Yeah,
Certainly.
yeah. So we have that. That's our main fundraiser. And then our desire is that we'll have ongoing giving from regular givers who maybe want to give monthly, and also that we will connect with churches that see that we are able to provide them with a valuable ministry to serve their men and women in their congregations who have abortion wounded hearts. And every congregation has abortion wounded hearts.
Yes.
There are different statistics depending on what you look at. Some say 1 out of 10, some say 4 out of 10. But we know that there are many, many more people wounded by abortion than who actually admit it.
That's sad.
It is. And, while I have your ear and the ear of your listeners, I mean, one of the things that Mike and I do is that we go out and we share about our own testimony and about our healing that came over to some extent gradually, but really we got a lot of healing from our own retreats. I went first and then he went. And so we talk about our story and we share with congregations about what abortion is, what it does, how it hurts people, and why it's so important to be lovingly pro-life, and how we can help others heal who have an abortion in their past.
If you go to other countries, you would have retreats there as well?
Well, that is certainly a hope that someday we'll have some retreats in other countries. I believe that at least one has taken place in Taiwan.
No?
And there are hopes that that will spread to other areas in the world.
Mhm.
So, it's such a big task, a big thing to address the worldwide abortion wounded hearts, that it will take God moving and to enable the deeper still to be able to do that. But that's not something that we specifically work on ourselves. We're one chapter and our focus is primarily Northern Indiana.
Yeah.
But certainly we'll be helping to equip any worldwide chapters with maybe missionaries, sort of like Deeper Still missionaries.
Mhm.
When some of those chapters form, I'm sure that some of the chapter leaders will offer that opportunity to their team members to go to other countries to help get it set up.
I mean, that would be beautiful if you went all over the world healing people, because there are an awful lot of people out there who are very not normal anymore because emotionally they have been ripped apart because what that happened to their babies.
Yeah. Yep. It is. It's a worldwide phenomenon, and but it's a God-sized task, but God can do it. So we're waiting on God to do the things that He needs to put into place. But our focus, like I said, is primarily Northern Indiana.
Yeah.
Yep.
Allen County.
Nope. All of Northern Indiana.
Oh,
We kind of look at everything from north of Indianapolis all across the state as the area that we are purposely trying to serve and intending to serve. That doesn't mean that people from other states can come to our retreats, and they do.
Mm-hmm.
And we even have traveling team members sometimes that come from other states to help us out, or we help them.
And
But
to learn too.
yeah. So our goal is to try to reach anybody in the Northern Indiana area with the news of healing here at this particular chapter, and to reach the churches in particular, because we see that mostly it's the churched people who are wanting to come to the retreats. There are sometimes people who aren't churched who want to come, but there's a lot of wounded people in churches, and we believe that God wants His bride, Jesus wants His bride to be healed, especially since His return is, who knows, seems closer every day. and he wants to see his bride healed so that men and women who are part of the bride of Christ are ready to greet him
Do you
without
work-
shame.
Oh, do you work with other pro-life organizations?
Sure.
Who?
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
we work pretty closely with the Right to Life organizations, and we let them know what we do, and we want them to get the word out to their constituents, their people, because we get a lot of support from the pro-life people within the Right to Life organizations, and we endeavor to collaborate with other abortion recovery ministries, also with pregnancy resource centers, because they see post-abortive women primarily, and sometimes some men too.
Mm.
So those organizations as well, and churches.
A Hope Center and
Mhm.
Mhm. Since you have fundraisers, is there anything else you do to raise the monies? Word of mouth or
Yeah, just we get a lot of our participants who come, we get them word of mouth, and then sometimes those participants um, sow right back into the ministry through giving.
Mhm.
So we'll send out newsletters with a giving link on there. We send
Mhm.
out,
We've had people write checks after we've
Yeah.
spoken at a church or somewhere.
yeah,
You
wherever
approach-
we speak, we take our giving card or our giving form with us so people can give if they want to.
Do you approach all churches in here in Fort Wayne area?
Well,
They
we know that
approach.
pastors are pretty busy,
I know.
and so we do try to reach out to the churches, but honestly, we pray a lot about it because um, we want the church to be welcoming and ready for us to
Mhm.
talk there and to share. And we never want a pastor to feel like we're stepping on his toes or that we're barging in when he's not ready or whatever the case may be. But we make calls. Sometimes we make cold calls, but we actually ask a lot of our participants or our supporters to help us to get connected with their churches, because we feel like that's sometimes the best way to do it.
To be part of the retreats, do you have to be Christian?
Yes,
You do.
yes. We have a statement of faith. We
Mm.
have a statement of affirmation of life that they need to sign.
Mhm.
We are unapologetically a Christian organization, and we love people. We love them no matter where they're at in their walk with God. Our team, however, uh, is decidedly Christian, and they, are part of the healing hands and feet of Jesus Christ. So you need to know Jesus to be his hands, his feet, his mouth, his ears.
Patty, did you mean as far as our team has to be Christian, or people that want to come
People
and
who need healing.
go through a retreat?
People who go to a retreat and need healing.
No, they don't have to be Christian.
That's what I meant.
No,
But you can
No.
always, what?
they can just come. They can come, but we do talk about the gospel. We do talk about things related to God.
Jesus is where the healing comes from. It's not us.
That's true.
Yeah,
He's the physician,
yes.
the healing physician. So, Mike, how long have you been helping with the retreats? Ever since day one?
From the start,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was an all women's retreat was the first retreat. And I went and spoke. I said my part, and ever since then I've been to every one. So yeah, I'm a part of it, definitely.
We need more men to go. It's not
Yes.
just the ladies.
Yes.
What's the age group of the people?
We've had early 20s all the way up into their 80s.
Ah, they need healing, indeed.
They do.
Too many across the world are this death culture Sad business. And sometimes government feeds on that to get money.
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood.
Hey, Patty, you wanted me to make sure to introduce Karen's book.
Yes.
So this is Healing the Hurt That Won't Heal by Karen Ellison, and she's the founder of Deeper Still. And this, for anybody who's listening, is a great introduction to Deeper Still, what we do. Some of the healing tasks, the healing things that we do are in this book. Of course, it's always ideal for people to come to a retreat and get that in-person experience, but there's a lot of information in here. Also, there's a chapter in here for pastors to get some ideas about how to present this in your church and to just be courageous, giving them courage to do that.
And if you have someone that you know personally who had abortion, you don't know how to approach that person, give them that book.
Yes. Yeah, give them that book, but I'll just read the book yourself.
Yes, and then I can be able to talk.
Yes, read the book and kind of get your bearings with what the abortion wounded heart looks like, and then be willing to hand it out.
They can go to the website. They can hear testimonies on the main website and our website. There's all sorts of resources out there for them to get information.
And the website again is
The main website for all the chapters for the national organization is deeperstill.org. And our website for our local Indiana chapter is deeperstillnorthernindiana.org.
wow. So your retreats, when's the next one?
We have one coming up in August,
Mhm.
August 4th through 6th, and it's already full. We have 10 ladies coming. Our last retreat had 9 women and 5 men. So that was our biggest retreat ever in the spring. This retreat, we don't have as much room available at the retreat center as we usually do. So we had to limit it to 10 people, and 10 women signed up, and we're full.
And we do want to say the retreats are free.
They're free.
They do not cost the participant anything except for getting there. And if they need help getting there, we will surely help out.
How do you have it free? Besides the banquet.
It's our banquets. The banquets pay for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, each retreat costs approximately $5,000. And so our underwriters are very important. Our donors are very important so that we can offer this to people for free, because the wounded heart, the abortion wounded heart, will find any reason not to attend, because there's a desire for healing, but there's also a fear sometimes of healing. And so there's sometimes a back and forth, running towards it and running away. And if we can take away every obstacle, then it enables people to have every reason to come.
And one after August, is there another one?
Yeah, there's one in October 13th through the 15th. Yeah. And
Sunday?
it's always Friday through Sunday.
Friday through Sunday. Friday at like say 2:00 till Sunday at noon.
Wow. How do they get there? They get by plane or bus or?
It's an hour and a half away. It's in our retreat center is located in Kewanee, Indiana. It's on a nice little private lake called Bruce Lake. It's at a beautiful Christian center called Massey. Sorry. Yeah, it's straight across. It's just it's just out past Rochester, Indiana. So it's straight across Indiana 14. And it's always there. Until we get too big to where we have to find somewhere else.
But right now you're okay.
Right now we're busting at the seams, but we're doing okay.
It is just beautiful. The retreat center is, but we use up every square inch of their retreat center. It's kind of funny. I did want to show you a couple of things. You had mentioned that you wanted to see a couple of things from the retreat.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a picture. I don't know if your people can see it.
Oh, that's pretty. Purple.
Yeah, this is
That's
when
the front yard.
that's the front when actually I think that's the back side. That's the when all the spring trees are in bloom. But we use something called tangibles. So tangible things are a physical representation of a spiritual reality.
Mm.
And one of the tangibles that we use are little bears, a little bit bigger than your bear.
Mm.
And this is our bear that I got at my retreat
Mm-hmm.
when I went. And then when Mike went to his retreat, I handed it off to him. And this bear represents our baby, who we named David Mark. And this is not his original blanket. This is his original blanket in blue. So we just feel like in our hearts that we had a boy. And so having this little bear to hold and to cuddle when we were grieving, and we still grieve our child, but having our little bear to hold at the retreat was very healing. And it just gave us something to hold when we think about our son. I wouldn't say I hold it all the time, but I do keep it up on we keep it up on a shelf so that we can remember our child and know that he's a real person in heaven. So that's
Does he have a
one.
name?
David Mark.
David Mark.
And then another thing that we do is this is called the Mother Mantle, and it's like a heavy green cape that represents a restored motherhood, what we call the Mother Mantle. I can't quite get it around me in this chair, but it's got some weight to it. It's substantial. And when the women pray over the other women, once they've been through several steps of healing, we pray over them that the Lord would restore their motherhood, not just for the living children that they have, but for anyone that they might mother, because even women who don't have children mother other people.
Yes.
God gives us a mother's heart just because we're women, and God gives us an ability to love and nurture others. And many people need that in our world today. Well, this is the Father's mantle, one of the parts of the Father's mantle. So that's something we pray for the men.
I'd like to say thank you for being on my show. I would love to have you back on this time here. Anyways, in our place, I hope. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you for interviewing us.
Thank you for helping our people.
It's our privilege.
This is Patty Hunter, Patty's Page. We'll see you next week, and thank you, Mike and Lisa Davis of Deeper Still.
Thank you,
Northern
Patty.
Indiana. Okay, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every dream. Don't let this time apart give in to all our fears. God will keep us close from up above. So until we meet again, Godspeed, my love. God is with us always, for the rest of our lives.